Benning Terrace, aka Simple City, aka Simp, aka Baby Vietnam, was built in 1958. It's a public housing project made of townhouses and low-rise apartments, consisting of 274 units, with there being three buildings in the area around G Street Southeast and 46th Street Southeast. Also known to be a violent neighborhood as well, or a violent area, located in Southeast DC, which is one of the most violent parts of DC, period. Simple City gained a notorious reputation in the 1990s for being a hotspot of violent gang activity, as well as DC being the murder capital around that time as well. In response to a surge in murders in 1997, a coalition including the National Center of Neighborhood Enterprise, the Alliance of Concerned Men, and local authorities implemented aggressive community intervention strategies. These efforts helped reduce violence by providing jobs for young men and gang members, who in turn became advocates for the community, coaching sports and keeping local youth out of gangs. Despite initial success, violence resurfaced by the late 2000s. In 2008, DC Mayor Adrian Fenty supported the area with a new sports field and a playground. However, by 2011, 13 young men from the community were indicted for violent crimes, with old gang feuds resurfacing. According to different sources, Benning Terrace is supposed to be demolished and rebuilt to look better, I guess. And as I'm looking at these pictures, first of all, the plumbing and the fences look terrible. But besides that, the townhouses and near the circle, all of that is supposed to be redone. I'm not sure when they're going to do it, but I'm looking at some blueprints about it. But it says it's supposed to be done along with a couple other hoods or whatever.
Really below poverty. These families don't have pots and pans. That's why it was important to me to bring pots and pans, basic things like boots, because it's about to get cold. And I don't know of too many organizations that is going to actually come and stand in the community and make sure this support gets to where it needs to get to. And because it's synonymous for crime, many people are afraid to come here. But I'm resilient, and nothing really scares me but knowing that families could remain in situations like that. This is what scares me.
Live from the area's leading news station, this is News 4 at 5.
Welcome back to the second half hour of News 4 at 5. I'm Susan Kidd.
And I'm Wendy Rieger. A plan that stomped out violence in one of D.C.'s most violent neighborhoods has helped another troubled area on the other side of the country. Today, leaders with the National Center for Neighborhood Enterprise showed local community leaders how to motivate citizens to move violence out of their neighborhoods. They say their plan made a difference in the gang-ridden area of Benning Terrace Southeast, and their work was most recently used in Dallas, Texas, at one of their more violent high schools.
If success can be experienced in Benning Terrace, then it's a model for what can be done throughout the nation. In fact, we have exported the Benning model to Dallas, and we're going to present that today.
7 years ago, 12-year-old Darrell Hall was shot and killed in the Benning Terrace projects. It was that murder that prompted warring gangs in the area to call a truce.
And it was the people in that community who decided to change the way they live. Today, Tracy Wilkins visited Benning Terrace to see how those changes are coming, and she joins us now from the newsroom with more. Tracy?
Well, Susan, between 1996 and 1997, 65 people were killed in the Benning Terrace projects of Southeast Washington, also known as Simple City. Police say it was a war zone where even they were afraid to go. Then the people who lived there take back their neighborhood.
He came up the hill, and on one side, he got the single-family homes, and then on the right side, this is our property here.
For years, the police didn't come here, so the gangs of Benning Terrace, also known as Simple City, were the police, judge, and jury deciding how this Southeast project would be run, and plenty of people died by the gun. Vernon Weiss was here.
When the school bells rang at 3:15, the kids would run home. It would take them approximately 2 minutes to get home, and in the units, they would be under beds or in the closets, just waiting for the gunfire to come, because they knew it was a daily routine.
One of those kids was 12-year-old Darrell Hall, a child who didn't run fast enough on January 15th, 1997. He was killed and his body found 3 days later, a crime that forever changed this project.
You know what I'm saying? Even when we was out here feuding with each other, with no understanding or no explanation as to, you know, what you're feuding for, what you're taking lives for, the kids looked up to us.
And that was enough for Vernon Weiss to help change his neighborhood, along with other community leaders. That meant stepping in between the project's gangs.
This is like the immediate divider from the warring factions, you know what I'm saying? As one group called itself the Avenue, and the other group called itself the Circle. So it was a warring faction between the Avenue and the Circle.
2 years after the truce, members of both gangs joined arm in arm to celebrate the stop in violence. Now, 7 years after the ceasefire, police say none of those former gang members have killed in Simple City because they were the ones who helped to clean it up, getting rid of graffiti and working with law enforcement to come into their project. Today, their efforts live on.
It could be done in other communities that's going through the same thing that we went through.
Vernon Weiss and other people in that community got help cleaning up the Benning Terrace from the National Center for Neighborhood Enterprise. Spokesmen for that group say that what happened there should be used as a model to clean up other areas in the city.
Tracy Wilkins, thank you, Tracy.
I don't really be too into hoods and all of this and that. And I don't really be hanging in hoods. They extra turn this truck around this jump. But get both sides of the street. Alabama Avenue. And I think this is part of it too, because they got townhouses, look like. But yeah, you got rappers from around here. This is Benning Heights, but I think they all probably is considered like Simple City. I went to a candlelight visual around here some years ago. I ain't gonna get into the details of it, but yeah. And I will do more of these. This is my first one that I'm testing out on the channel. For real, I've done videos where I rode through hoods or whatever, but never really, not even so much like a little bit of history just mixed with just really showing y'all how people living, you know, where people live. This is considered a project. Some projects are knocked down. A couple of them have been knocked down in Southeast, Northeast, and everywhere, really. I'm gonna show y'all what was a source some quarters. Oop, that say do not enter. But yeah, Simple City. And I'm glad I ended this right here too, because I gotta keep going. We're gonna do more hoods. We're gonna do Southeast, we're gonna do Northeast, Trinidad, we're gonna do Fat Trail Hood and all of that. Like, cause yeah. But that's the end of this video. But like I've said, I've done videos where I've drove or driven through hoods, but I'm gonna try to just like give you a little bit of type history behind it or just tell you some stuff about it. And subscribe to the channel.